Ebeka unusi Biafra, Ebeka unusi Biafra, Gamarapu Biafra, Gawe bozo gabi, Gamarapu Biafra, Gawe bozo gabi, Biafra garden.
Ojukwu finally took his people out of Nigeria. Biafra was proclaimed.
Parts of the conflict.
Yes.
All the refugees and the famine which followed the conflict.
My name is Nnabuike Nnadede, voice of Biafra. We are here to experience the exhibition going on in this great institution of learning, SOAS, School of Oriental and African Studies, organized by the Nigerian Art Society. We are here to experience the artwork exhibition by great artists from different parts of not just Nigeria but also Africa and other parts of the world. And John Hollingworth, who is the head of this gallery and exhibition, is going to take us around to show us the experience and the artistic impression of what happened during that horrible period in our history.
Okay, so how long have you been doing this?
Well, this particular exhibition, which is of artist responses to the legacies of Biafra, is an exhibition that's been co-organised with the Nigeria Art Society UK in partnership here with the Bruno Gallery at SOAS. And the exhibition has now been running for almost 2 months, and we're just entering the last month. It'll be running through until Saturday the 24th of March.
So what was the motivation?
Well, I think, we were approached by the Nigeria Art Society with the idea and proposal for this exhibition. And we were very excited by it. It's a really interesting and very timely project. Obviously, SOAS, the School of Oriental African Studies here at the University of London, is probably the right place to have this exhibition because we're also very aware of the sensitivities around the whole subject and the fact that obviously all of these events are within living history, living memory. And so quite a motive that it's the right time to be having discussion and dialogue, I think, about this topic. And it was interesting because all of the artwork in the exhibition, the artists were approached and asked to produce specifically as a direct response to their idea of the legacies of Biafra and what it meant to them.
That's really good. For how long has this been going on?
Well, the exhibition has taken over 2 years to make, and so there's been a lot of work behind the scenes for that. And then, as I say, it's now been running and open to the public for almost 2 months, and it's proved to be very popular, both obviously with the Nigeria community here in the UK have been coming along and seeing it and hopefully really taking something away from the show, but also a much wider audience, both of a generation who remember Biafra, those who were here in the UK when this was happening and have memories from then, but also the younger generation who maybe don't even know what the story and the history and the meaning is behind the issues covered by this exhibition.
What do you think is the major lesson that people should take home whenever they come to this kind of exhibition?
Well, I hope it will create a dialogue, which I think is needed. There's still a lot of very, unanswered questions from that period, and a lot of open wounds which need healing. And I think people now, is possibly the time for people to start at least considering that, thinking of that, and having a dialogue with each other. And I think a lot of the work in the exhibition is very powerful, and many of the artists have taken something very different from the exhibition. Some of them looking at the cultural traditions within the region, but also those who are looking for the future and actually looking to move away from the conflict and to a better understanding.
Do you intend to sell some of these beautiful artworks?
Well, I think the Nigeria Art Society will be hopefully looking to, as we're working artists, and as all artists they need to earn money. But I think the exhibition itself, they are hoping to initially tour the exhibition to other venues in the UK, not just in London, which I think is important. So again, to reach out to the wider diaspora and communities. And then once it's finished touring, I think some of the work may well be available to sell. Door here, and I know that Chike, it'd be really good because I know Chike was explaining the symbolism within about basically in this particular picture is looking at the past, present, and the future. Because what he talks about the unborn yet, which hopefully for Nigeria will move beyond this. So I think that's important. He trained Chike, so Chike was very pleased and proud to have his work next to his, and also we did it, as you can see, it sort of mirrors the figures which are here with his own work. See, basically there's a group of audio histories, so all of these people here, you've got some of the artists like Chike, who's in here also, and it's interviews, and they're talking about their experiences, memories of, or even just what they've been told, so what they think about all of the issues surrounding the conflict.
I see.
So it's, I think it's interesting to hear that in somebody's own words, rather than just reading it.
Yes.
I think so there's audio.
This is great.
The artist Obi Akibo, who is Christopher Akibo's daughter. She's a member of the Nigeria Art Society, but she actually lives and works now in Europe, in Belgium. But so it's having her work here.
Oh wow.
You know, Akibo died during the war.
Yes, he was killed. I think he was in a car that was blown up.
Yes. That was Achebe's closest friend. Yeah, Achebe wrote a lot about him.
We did an exhibition several years ago
About
of Christopher Akibo, his writing, because as well as his writings, he also did sketches. So we had some of that with recordings and with Obi Akibo's work, because she sadly never knew her father because he was killed when she was so young. So she never really got to know him, but she got to know him through the recordings that were made of his readings and his poems. So, this is Anthony again, Anthony Ndika.
Yeah, Anthony
Ndika.
This is the same. So this is the same artist, and he uses a lot of symbolism.
Yeah, it's called in CBD. It's called in CBD.
Money and oil, isn't it?
Yeah, money and oil.
The oil became a big issue. So some of the work, this abstract piece, was surreal.
Because I can see the tying, using the rope to tie the three ethnic groups.
Yeah.
Igbo, Yoruba, and Biafra, and that's why the oil is.
And the conflict, the blood for the three.
That's a powerful artwork.
Yeah. It doesn't matter who you are, which side you're from.
It's from.
It's all linked there, I think. And for those back in the UK, we've also got these are images and news, of course. We hear, sadly, come out a lot from different countries across Africa in more recent times. But I think one of the impacts, which are powerful in people's memory about this was the first time in the UK that people had seen. This was the front cover of magazines and newspapers, because it was one of, not the, but it was one of the earliest civil wars in then independent African countries.
That was well
That was
documented.
televised.
So all of the pieces here are Ruchi Enchetta's.
Yes, I mentioned,
Yeah, because this is her book, obviously, which is very well known.
Destination Biafra.
And
yes.
this is the original transcript of the book.
Oh,
This is her archive.
Wow.
We've been very lucky that her family have lent these objects to us. So all of them, this is the original transcript for the book, and these are in her own hands. These are her own notes, and all of the information and paperwork in these 3 cases here. This is her source material that she used for the book, for her archive. So we've been very lucky that her family have agreed to lend this to us.
she's a very powerful woman. That's the main person of Nigeria.
And they had, say, the day after the opening, they had an event in the Brunel Gallery Lecture Theatre here to celebrate her work, and with several key speakers discussing both her work and other publications which have been produced both at the time and since then around the whole topic.
It's a powerful art.
With the strings being cut but still attached.
And only one is holding. It's a powerful artwork. Why?
This is again.
Adi. And the scissors is
Yeah, this is the only one. And this, and look at the scissors there. That's the only link left. You know, because you can't force people to be together. It's impossible. People must discuss. People must dialogue before they can work together.
it's encouraging. You know, I mean, people should come and see this.
Because the exhibition, it's not, it's apolitical. It's not pro one way or the other.
No.
It's just trying to remind people. And with it being looked at in
And it evokes dialogue.
It helps. It does, and that's very powerful images for a lot of people in their memories of the Biafra conflict. It's the children.
It's the children.
Because as with often with all conflict, it's the women and the children.
The women and the children that suffers.
They're the ones who are then refugees and fleeing the conflict and the horrific famine that followed the conflict. And that impact on a whole generation.
Yeah, because
the same artist that drew that.
oh man, I was a child of that war. You know, I witnessed the horror. It was it never leaves your memory, no matter what.
You have to learn from history, so that it doesn't happen again. And I think that's part of the message here is that because a lot of this is Ade's work, and I think it's a very powerful piece. It obviously illustrating the Nigerian outline there, the country, that's Biafra. And you've got
This one is by Titus Abare.
Titus Abare. Okay. That's another.
That's Ogoni Memories.
Ogoni Memories.
Yes.
Wow.
Titus Abare. Wow. That's a powerful.
Most of the animals are extinct in Ogoni land
Yes.
because of the oil pollution. You know. Wow.
And high level of cancer because of water, dirty water and all that.
I think.
isn't it? There's also some more sort of documentary type images here, which are photographs taken at the time. I mean, so you see these are all. Step back.
What's that about that one?
These are all images taken It's
Feeding center.
it's from the ICRC, the Christian
Caritas, is it?
Christian Aid, I think.
Caritas or...
This one says ICRC.
yeah.
Oh yeah, Caritas.
Yes, yeah. Because they've had.
I remember them. Caritas, Caritas.
At the time, you had. It was around this period that a lot of the aid agencies, which we think of today, like Oxfam, were started, and it was because of this conflict in particular raised the need for help and aid, and it wasn't. And I know from talking to some of the artists and some of the other people who've been to the exhibition, like yourself, because Chike, he remembers. You know, he was also a child of the conflict, and remembers. And it was the fact that in this country, I've been speaking to actually who are not Nigerian, but who, as children in the UK, they remember fundraising at their schools for the children caught up in Biafra.
Oh, the schools,
So the schools in the UK.
Yeah.
So
Blue Peter.
Yeah, Blue Peter collecting milk bottle tops, and which all that foil, which they could then turn into aid, food, and blankets that was necessary. But yeah, no, there's people of a certain age. They remember fundraising for the families and children caught up in Biafra and Nigeria. So there was a lot of that happening in the UK. So, but not just from the Nigerian community. That was the last thing. It was the fact that it was from every community. And actually, that just hear that choral music in the background, that Biafra hymns which are being sung, and that was an album that was recorded by a group of Nigerian women who lived in the UK. They had the idea to record those songs to make an album to then sell.
To raise money.
Which they could then send for aid.
For aid back home.
And so that's why we've got it playing, because there's one here, there's one upstairs. And for certain people, because music, just like art, music is very emotive and a trigger. You know, just like you're saying, like a sound can remind you of a certain event or an activity. And so again, having songs sung from that period, I think that puts it into context, and for some people, again, is almost a trigger reminding them, taking them back. Really.
This one of these short documentaries about Biafra. It is called Recompete. It's about the story of Mr. Morris. He's a great musician, a celebrated musician, who was a child of that war. He was taken after the war to Britain to start his ground education. This film was actually nominated for BAFTA award, but he didn't win the award. It's a short film.
Well, we've had real interest. I know there's a couple of people who've been in contact with me this week who are coming over from America. Specifically.
For this?
Yeah, they're coming from the Smithsonian
Institute.
Institutes, because they've heard about the exhibition and they desperately want to see it.
And see whether they can actually...
So you never know. I mean, if there's the interest there, and I'm hopeful, you never know. They might even be interested to take the exhibition to America. Which would be really interesting.
A big boost. Yes.
I mean, it's obviously the trouble is all these things take money.
Yes.
But someone like the Smithsonian has money. So
they have money, definitely.
Okay. How do you think this art can heal the world? How can it bring people together?
Well, I think part of the idea behind the exhibition and what I hopes for it by both the curator and the artists involved is that it can start that dialogue which is necessary to start a healing process. And art can inspire that because it's a very accessible medium. every work says something slightly different to every viewer. And I think as they would see different elements of the work that stand out to them. And obviously for those who are of the generation who experienced the years of the Biafra conflict, they will have different memories to those of the younger generation who have maybe just been told about
like
what
me,
happened.
I was told.
Exactly.
Yeah, I was involved.
You've been told by your family and family friends and other elders within the community that have shared stories and told you what their experience is. So I think that's really one of the aims, is that work like this will speak to different people in different ways, but hopefully all within that same topic, which can start people just to actually discuss it, because I think because it is such a tragic period in Nigeria's history that has left an impact which still carries on today, that needs to be resolved, looked at, and hopefully this exhibition will go a little way towards that, by, even if it starts just two people who hadn't previously discussed it, as well as having that discussion, then the exhibition will achieve one of its aims that it was hoping to do.
Thank you for talking to you.
That's my right.
Yeah,
Okay,
thanks.
thank you.
You have done a great job.
Thank you.
Mr. John has taken us around, and I'm really fascinated. The great works, many great artists exhibited in this place, and I want people to come and see this, because this is not something we are going to miss. They still have up to 3 weeks before this exhibition will close down, and they are also planning to take it to other parts of the world, and they will need at least your support to come here and watch these things, because at least we have seen that the art is a very powerful weapon. It can also heal, and from what Mr. John said, their major aim was actually to heal, to bring people to dialogue, and we hope this will go a long way to heal and to bring both sides, the Nigerian side, the Biafran side, to really dialogue, so that we will have a better understanding. Thank you. God bless you.
Ebeka unusi Biafra, Ebeka unusi Biafra, Gamavapu Biafra, Gawe bozo gabi, Gamavapu Biafra, Gawe bozo gabi, Biafra gadendu. Ebeka